YouTube, this is HK58, and I'm going to talk about a few Planeswalker cards I made. I don't own any of the pictures in these cards, but I just thought I'd share, what I created on my versions of certain Planeswalkers or certain creatures that could technically become Planeswalkers, or some fans would like to see them as Planeswalkers. So the first of the 10 cards is Tezzeret, Master Artificer, a 1 blue black. For 4 loyalty. Draw 3 cards and discard 2 unless you discard an artifact. I know, it's just a lot of times I've noticed that some Planeswalkers just have either a new ability or they kind of take an idea from a specific instant sorcery, so that's what I kind of did here. Target permanent, so -1, target permanent becomes an artifact in addition to its other types, and target non-creature artifact becomes a creature, or target non-artifact creature becomes a creature with power toughness equal to its converted mana cost. So you turn a creature, turn something into an artifact, or you turn a non-creature artifact into an artifact creature. And then search your library for up to 4 artifacts with different names, reveal them, and put 2 of them into the battlefield and 2 of them in your hand, and then shuffle your library. So it's a super tutor. So it's one of those super tutors. It's not like game ending, but I think it'd be kind of cool to see this type of Tezzeret out there, especially having a way to be some sort of another artifact Tezzeret that supports artifacts in a way. So yeah, the next one. Okay, yeah, I got the next 3 cards. Yes, Squee, Goblin Nabob. I thought of creating it into a Planeswalker, as well as later on, I'm going to spoil it, Norin. So yeah, here's my version takes on Squee, Goblin Nabob in 3 different forms. Because Squee is red, so I got that one covered over here when I get to that one. But also Squee has an enchantment or sorcery. Well, he has a card that's red and white, so I decided to make a card around that. As well as a card that is red and blue. So, I don't know the cards right off, but I was like, hey, I'm going to try to make cards similar to these. So this Squee Nabob, they only have 2 abilities, not super powerful, but I can see them better than Tibalt. I made them for sure that way. But at the beginning of your upkeep, if Squee, this Planeswalker is in your graveyard, return it to your hand, so it kind of is recurring in a way. Maybe there could be also a rule where each Planeswalker card can only have a limit of 2, no more than 2 of this Planeswalker in a deck. So they could have that restriction added to that, just for that type of effect. Outside of that, no, why not? So +1 until your next turn. Prevent up to 2 damage to target creature or Planeswalker you control, chosen at random. So you choose at random, and then they prevent 2 damage until your next turn. And then you have -5. You get an emblem with creatures you control get +2/+2 and have. Whenever this creature dies, return that creature card to its owner's hand. Pretty interesting. Well, probably I should say a creature token would just die, period. But this is kind of an interesting ultimate. But you have to build up to it, so you got to find a way to protect it. So it does protect itself, but in a way, because it also doesn't protect itself because it's chosen at random. But that's a way to make it so it's not overpowering. Now the blue-red one has the same effect. All 3 Planeswalkers has the same top effect, where they only have 2 abilities. So 2 mana for 1 loyalty. Until your next turn, each player plays with their hands revealed, and then you flip a coin. If you win the flip, draw a card. It is kind of based off that blue-red Squee card. And then choose a number. Flip a coin that many times until you lose the flip, or whichever comes first. Draw a card for each flip you win. If you win all flips, take an extra turn after this one. That is interesting. Yeah, that one's kind of an interesting effect to have on a Planeswalker Ultimate. It's not too overpowering, but it still has like that flip coin effect. I'm not making it so overpowering, but it's not too underpowering. So each coin flip you win, you still at least get to draw a card. And I could say where this Squee could be a 2 loyalty right off the bat, but I threw them all at 1. And then Squee Nabob Planeswalker. Has the same effect as before. Is in your graveyard. Return to your hand. Flip a coin. If you win a flip, deal 2 damage to target creature chosen at random. And then you get an emblem. Creatures and other planeswalkers you control have, at the beginning of your upkeep, if this permanent is in your graveyard or in exile, you may return it to your hand. Boom. That is probably the best ultimate. And I can say, I will admit, I could probably say this Squeak could be a 1 red. Just because of that ultimate is pretty powerful. Because as soon as if anything goes to exile, you path exile, okay, my turn, I get it back. Anything I discard, I get it back. It's pretty powerful. I could even adjust the ultimate cost to 6. Outside of that, it still starts at 1 loyalty, which is still underwhelming. So outside of that, it'd be kind of cool to see these squeeze made. You know, if you like these squeeze, hey, I put a lot of thought into these squeeze because of the fact I didn't want them so overpowered, but I still wanted them as a 2-mana planeswalker. Each of them to be 2-mana planeswalkers. And yes, Wizards, if you really want to take these squee ideas, go ahead. I'm okay with that, because I would like to have fun playing them. Norn the Cautious. This one's a 3 loyalty planeswalker. For 3 mana. Until your next turn, Norn the Cautious has, whenever a player casts a spell or a creature attacks, exile it and return to the battlefield. And then +1 until your next turn, target creature you control has that effect. And then -2, target creature you don't control has. So it's kind of he really goes crazy on the fact, so you can make it to where Norn the Cautious goes and has a removal effect for themselves or creature you control to protect that creature. Especially if it has an inner battlefield effect. You don't have to worry about them killing it. And until your next turn, this planeswalker just, does Norn's effect. So that's 2 cards that I thought would be kind of cool to see 2 creature cards made into some planeswalkers. Of course, I made Squee more because there was more cards built around its type of abilities. And I couldn't fit it all on one. This is my take on Niv Mizzet the Planeswalker. For loyalty, it basically is creature's mana cost. Electrolyzes its main ability. Then he also has the 1 sorcery from the new Ravnica block. Search the library for an instant sorcery card with a confirmed mana cost of 3. And I said instant sorcery because on that one I think it was sorcery or instant, one of the two. But I did it instant or sorcery. Confirmed mana cost 3, 2, and 1, and then you put it into your hand. Or you look at the top 20 cards, choose up to 8 of them, exile them, you may cast them paying the mana cost, and then shuffle your library. So it's kind of a cool little ability. Nissa the Enlightened. 2 green. Put 2 green elf warrior creature tokens on the battlefield. Search your library for a force card, put it onto the battlefield, and shuffle your library, or you get the emblem where elf creatures get +3/+3 and have trample. It's just an elf supporting Nissa. More of an elf supporting Nissa than the first one, in a way. Well, the first one was too. This one is also another one. This is my take of a 3 mana Nissa after the first one was revealed. Get a 1/2 elf warrior token onto the battlefield. Target player sacrifices an artifact or enchantment, or you get an emblem whenever you play a land or cast an elf card, either gain 2 life or you may draw a card. Koth the... you saw one of my favorites I made. Koth Enraged Volshok. A red for 4 mana. Search the library for mountain, put it into your hand, shuffle your library. So it's kind of the Liliana effect. Then it says deal damage to target creature equal to the number of mountains you control, so it does protect itself. And it's definitely great for mono red. And it deals damage to each creature you don't control, each planeswalker you don't control, and each opponent equal to the number of mountains you control. So that's its ultimate. Then my last, but my favorite of this list that I would love to see is Kenshi Sakashima. Which Sakashima, I always thought would be kind of cool to see as a planeswalker. Obviously, this is the art from the actual card itself. But you basically do a telling time. Top 3 cards, put one in the hand, library, top of library and bottom library. But it's 0 ability. Until end of turn, can, however you say Sakashima's name, becomes a copy of a creature on the battlefield, except it's still Sakashima and has hexproof. I also looked up the real name. And then you get an emblem with each creature you control that enters the battlefield may become a copy of any creature on the battlefield. Boom, mind blown there. So it's a super clone Planeswalker. I thought it was always cool to make one of these type of Planeswalkers. But yeah, that's all the Planeswalkers I created that I wanted to share. Let me know what you think, and yeah, talk to you later.